Hi, my name is Kate Strathdee, and I'm currently interning for Mennonite Creation Care Network, and I'm coming from the unceded territory of the Algonquin people, or more commonly known as Ottawa, Ontario. What can Mennonites and Anabaptists bring to the conversation about climate change? When I ponder this question, I think about the language that many governments and corporations use. The words fight, tackle, and battle are common when discussing the imperative to solve the climate crisis. The time frame that our global community has to save our planet from ecological collapse is sometimes compared to a warlike mobilization. The language that we use reflects our values as an individual, community, or society. The reality is that this mentality behind the warlike language is what got us into this mess in the first place. While we do need to transition away from fossil fuels and reduce our carbon emissions, that is not the end of our responsibility of taking care of the earth. The work of restoring our earth will take a long time, and we can't stop thinking about this issue once a certain piece of legislation has passed. As well, in a war, there are always enemies. Who are the enemies in the so-called battle against climate change? Some may say it is the corporations, the wealthy, and the governments. However, we know that these institutions have also adopted the same language, and often the target may be the poor and those residing in the global south. While I think that electric cars are an important part of the green energy transition, we cannot ignore those living in communities where lithium is being mined. While protecting some lands from economic development is important for preventing further biodiversity loss, it should not come at the expense of forcibly taking land away from Indigenous landowners. Governments and corporations may continue to use this warlike language in regards to climate change. But could Mennonites reframe this in a different way? Jesus calls us to be peacemakers. He said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall become like the children of God." He believed that those who take the sword will perish by the sword. I think that this is a reminder that we should not be only using violent language when talking about climate change. We need to be restoring, healing, and mending. I don't think that any language involving the word fight is bad. But I think the fact that so much of climate discourse uses this word is the main problem. By using more peaceful language, we are showing the world that the environment should always be top of mind. Our job as human beings is to tend God's garden, as mentioned in the book of Genesis. It will likely take a while before society moves speaking about environmentalism as a battle to something that is just simply a part of life. It's true that we've destroyed the planet for so long that we do need to act quickly to prevent the worst outcomes from occurring. We can't be passive, and it's important to call out those who created the problem in the first place. But we must also talk about repairing, restoring, and reconciling. Ecclesiastes 3:2 reminds us that we must break down the things that are evil and create good things. We cannot have one or the other. By starting to change our language around climate change, we are like a mustard seed, one that with tenderness and care can transform into a larger tree.